Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome to 2026.
Oh, exciting!
We thought we'd do a video, a little bit of a wash up from our Portugal and Spain trip we did last year. So last year, it seems a bit weird saying last year, because you may be planning now for your 2026 trips, and we might share something with you that's useful for you if you're interested in Portugal or maybe Spain.
Yeah, so it might benefit you.
Yeah, so we thought we'd do a bit of a wash up, and we've had some questions about tolls and things like that, so we will get to that in this vlog as well. So at the end of August, we went away for 4 weeks because that's what fits in with my work. They very kindly allowed me to take a big chunk of my leave in a one, so that's really helped. So we headed off on the ferry because we're in the south of England anyway, so it didn't take too long to drive to the ferry port. Across on the ferry, which was 2 nights. We did a video on that on its own as well. So if you want to check out our Portugal playlist, that will be in the Portugal playlist.
So the main reason we took the ferry is because we only had the 4 weeks and we wanted to pretty much start off in Portugal and work our way round without coming through France. And even though it was still 2 nights, 32 hours or something like that on the ferry, it would have taken us longer really, and I would have been more fatigued going through France. So the idea was to get the ferry, which is obviously a little bit more expensive. We
decided this time, because we'd done the ferry before and just seen it as a transport method to get to where you're going to. So this time we had the ferry as a little bit of the start. Well, we had the ferry as the start of our holiday, didn't we?
Definitely,
we decided,
definitely. As soon as that's parked up on the boat, then that's it.
Yeah, holiday time. When we got off the ferry, we were in Santander. And we drove, was it about 5 hours or something like that?
Yeah, it was actually 5.5 hours. Obviously a bit sooner than that by the time we got into Portugal, but for our stop was 5.5 hours, yeah.
Oh yeah, and just to let you know, the way I planned this was I actually used ChatGPT, so I used AI. Yeah. We asked for recommendations from you guys and we got loads. So I put them all into ChatGPT, told it kind of my dates and what routes we wanted to do it in, and it set it out for us. It wasn't exactly perfect. It did mess up 2 and put them in the wrong order, so I had to put them back.
Yeah, and plans do change, but it gives you a rough idea of one, are you going to get round, how long you can stop at certain places, and the route. With
these AIs though, you just have to check the work and make sure it works. Don't go 100% off it, because they're not always 100% correct. It really helped us, didn't it, plan? So we were really grateful for it, and especially with all the recommendations and not sure of where they were. Which is
another thing we were really grateful for, all the recommendations. And I think we hit some of the really good spots in Portugal.
I chose myself the first one because we wanted somewhere just over the border, and actually I said chose myself. I asked ChatGPT a good place to go, and it came up with Braganza, and that was a lovely park up, free park up at the bottom of a castle, wasn't it?
It is. And I've always noticed whenever we start our trips, we seem to do a free park up at the beginning and free park ups at the end. It was a lovely free park up, all facilities there. There was a few vans on there, weren't overly busy, right next to, like you say, the bottom of the castle, really.
Yeah, I mean, these castles, as you know, most of them are on hills, so you're going to have to be walking up some kind of hills.
Well, they weren't too bad.
It wasn't too bad, that one, but obviously it was limiting for you because of your fear of heights.
Yeah, but the reason it was a good stop for the first one, obviously we got off the ferry in the morning, drove 5.5 hours. It was nice and easy to walk around and check out, knowing you're only there for the 1 night, so you didn't have the pressure of having to go off somewhere and do a whole day's of exploring. It was literally just that, and everything was there, so we was able to fill up the water after coming off the ferry, and all that sort of good stuff that, you know, you're ready to go for your trip the next morning.
Another thing as well, because we were in the north, there was a worry about wildfires, and there was a few people, especially one of our friends, who'd cancelled or changed their route through Portugal because they were worried about the fires. Now, if you just keep up to date with where they are, we were about 40 miles, wasn't it, from the nearest fire at Braganza. Google Maps does show you, which we were quite grateful for as well, where the fires are. And then you just keep up to date with it. I mean, again, we use the AI ChatGPT to ask, and then we Googled it, and then we knew we were safe. And there was other people there. if it had become really empty all of a sudden, everyone had driven off, we'd have known something wasn't right, and we would have we were looking out for that.
Everyone knows now that I rely on the Garmin sat-nav. Now, the Garmin sat-nav is great, and it does do traffic updates via the phone app. However, we do, and if you know us by now, we have Google Maps in the sideline as an extra. Garmin's the one I'm following because of the size of the vehicle, and I just trust it 100%. And I think once you gain that trust in something, perfect. Now, if there was a road blocked because of fire or anything like that, diversions, Google Maps would have highlighted that first. So, you know, we was covered.
We felt safe, and we didn't go anywhere near any fires, did we?
No, not at all.
We may have seen a bit of smoke on a drive one day, on a drive when we were driving one day, but that was it in the distance. We were not near them, and it's unfortunate that them things happen over there for them. But luckily, we didn't encounter any.
Yeah.
And when we left Braganza, we were heading for Porto. We really want to see Porto. We haven't been able to see it yet, but we needed some shopping as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we decided to go to a supermarket car park where you can stay overnight. We got there, we got some food, everything was going well, but we just didn't feel quite right, did we?
It didn't feel right. It probably was going to be all right. And talking to a few people that have retired and live in Portugal now, expats or whatever.
On our journey,
On our journey, they said that you shouldn't have really had trouble in the supermarket. However, Porto is a city, so it has got that city vibe. So, but what we found is there was a lot of I don't know what they call them out there, but over here it would be the Uber, the Just Eats, all on the mopeds, winging around that car.
Delivery drivers.
And they're all going off to do their deliveries. So it just didn't feel right for us. So we decided to move on from there.
Wasn't the sleeping in it that was a problem. I would have felt comfortable sleeping in it. The guy from the supermarket came over and he was looking at some of the vans, especially the ones that had been there a while, and he wasn't bothered about us. I'd have felt comfortable sleeping there. We wanted to go off and visit, and we didn't feel comfortable leaving the van. No. Even with all the security we've got on it, we still didn't feel right. And if you don't feel right, you don't feel right. So we moved on, didn't we?
Yeah.
We tried to get a campsite along the coast.
2 or 3 campsites we tried.
Near Porto, and it just wasn't working out for us. No,
and obviously we're driving around Porto as well. Just look out for the restrictions, that's all I say.
We nearly went down a tunnel that was not for us.
Well, we may have scraped through.
Down the tunnel, through a tunnel, down and through the tunnel. Yeah.
But
scraped through is probably the word.
Probably scraped through. But at the same time, the campsites, they weren't taking our size. Now, it don't mean that they all couldn't take our size. It's just they didn't have any pitches available
at that time
for our size motorhome. It just seems to be a lot of smaller vans, your V-dubs, your 6 meters, stuff like that. So we kept on just pushing down the coast, didn't we?
Yeah, and I'm just finding out where we actually, because I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's we found a council run campsite, if you like.
Which was our first experience.
And there's a lot of them around, and this was really good. And we found it in Ferraduro.
But I will put the names down, and then you can try and pronounce them yourselves.
I probably could at the time when we did the vlog, but I can't remember now. Ferraduro. And it looks like it says.
Yeah, and that was a nice.
We had 2 nights there, didn't we?
Yeah, although I did nearly take the entrance to the car park. I'm thinking that's a bit tight to get in there, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then I realised, hang on a minute, this is to a car park to the side. That was why it was tight. It was designed for cars, not me.
So that's on the west coast, isn't it? And that's near a little beach.
All right.
It was quite nice. It was quite busy, that's all, but it was lovely. And it's one of them, a bit like Albufeira, camping Albufeira, where you just park wherever. They have got a slight boundary, but they're not really bothered how you park in that area.
That's right. Find your pitch that you're comfortable in and then park up.
The only thing we had problems with there was the services, wasn't it? Coming out, because it was on a little bit of a lip, and it had like a lip that you went over, and that's what was causing. It was just like driving onto a weighbridge as such. However, the exit from it was quite a sharp ramp. So, if you missed your exhaust, you were going to hit your tank, weren't you? Well, I think even it was more than the air tank actually that's doing the air for the airbags. Funny enough. Yeah, but we got to a point when you filled the airbags with air, we got to a point where you were just missing the exhaust. And if you know the bottom
the
of
risks are reversed off of that, as you see probably in the video if you watched them. But
if you know the bottom of a Contiki, you know that they're quite low. So we decided you had to reverse off, like you said.
Yes.
But apart from that campsite was really good. We really enjoyed it.
The area was nice. You know, we only had a quick visit there, quick look around as well.
Was it one night or 2 nights we'd done?
Probably 2 nights, I think.
It might have been one, thinking about it.
Yeah, I only remember.
I can't remember, but we will put it in here.
Exploring the place that evening, and then we went back the next day.
Well, it doesn't really matter anyway. We had a really good time there. Yeah. Oh no, when we was there, we met a couple, didn't we?
Yes.
And they retired out there. That's what we're talking about before, and they were really nice and really helpful. And we said we're off to Nazaré. Nazaré.
Yeah.
Nazaré.
I can pronounce that one, I think. Yeah.
So we were going to Nazaré, and they said to us, if you get there today, like when we was leaving, they said it's supposed to be because there was some kind of storm off the Atlantic. We were supposed to be getting some big waves. Now, we didn't realise that is famous for the big waves at that point.
No, and we didn't realise they're getting big waves for that time of year. The actual waves probably get a lot bigger in the winter months, as we found out when we was exploring it, which is really good.
Yeah, but when we got there, we went straight down to try and find these waves, didn't we?
Yeah.
We'll tell you about the campsite in a minute, but we got there to try and find them waves. They were quite high anyway, the waves, and they were coming right up the beach, and people were getting wet. Even some guy sat with on his towel.
There was actually a lifeguard there giving warnings on the whistle when the waves were coming in big.
But we thought, oh, this is all right. But we didn't think it was anything massively impressive, like the way they were telling us. But when we explored it the next day, we found the other part of the beach, didn't we? Where we could actually see how big the waves are. And that was the surfing area. We went in that museum.
Well, what we didn't realise when we went in the museum, underneath the seabed there, the canyon and the way the structure forms, it creates these big waves on that side of the peninsula, I suppose, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we stayed at a place there called the Orbitur, which is the brand, I believe.
Yeah.
Orbitur Valado campsite. So the problem with that campsite was some of the pictures weren't quite right, were they?
No. And I think obviously as the staff, they just pick a number. So this was a campsite that was, one, a bit more expensive, and two, they do pick where you go. However, when we drove round, that was a bit difficult anyway. It was low branches and stuff like that. But as we went round, we were still the wrong side of where our pitch was. So I didn't know how we were going to get there, but I went off on foot then exploring, and there was a tree 3/4 of the way in, and it was just sand. So that's one thing to watch out for in Portugal. A lot of the pitches are like a sand. You will get stuck if you're not careful.
But we were there 2 nights, I remember now.
Yeah.
And we couldn't, so we wanted to be comfortable as well.
Yeah.
But you came back around, got another pitch sorted. And
I did,
we think we actually ended up on a cheaper pitch, but we didn't want to
and that's
argue
fine. I weren't going to argue it. I just wanted a better pitch.
It was better for the van. Yes, we weren't out in more of a secluded area where they thought that's where you'd want to be. We were more in a busier area, but it was level. It was hard standing.
A bit hard standing there,
and it was easy and comfortable for us. So we were just happy in the end. So a bit of a walk to the beach. It's quite a hilly up and down,
all
like
downhill to the beach,
and all uphill, and then downhill again to the campsite. So it's like up and then down to the beach.
Yeah,
so
that's the one where you had the tram going up on the on the hill cliff there. Yeah, which is good.
That was quite a good experience going up on that. Yeah, it's just having good footwear if you're going to walk there, because if you're going up on the tram and coming back down, or you're going up the steps, they are quite slippy. So have good footwear, or you can get a taxi down.
Yeah,
that'd be fine. You know,
taxis are really
bikes,
cheap out there.
Cycle. Yeah. It was a really good experience. Really enjoyed it. And then we were recommended another place in Obidos.
Yes.
Now, this was another little quirky place, wasn't it? We really liked this.
Yeah, is this the one where it was the medieval village?
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice, with the wall. Well, they don't have barriers out there, that's for sure.
That's how he remembers it. Yeah. So we stayed in like a little that was car park where you paid into an honesty box, and we managed to squeeze in there. We found out the timings for them really, like sort of lunchtime, isn't it? Where you're more likely to get space is around lunchtime-ish.
Yeah, I mean, we was talking again to some more expats, and they said that it does get busy, but then there's a lot of day trippers, so still just day tripping in the motorhome. They come along, park there, do the day trip, and then they go. So it was a bit busy at the beginning.
So that one might have been clearer later on then. I forgot about that.
One there, yeah.
Everything he needed was there. That was great. So we met somebody who we parked next to him in the end, didn't we?
We did, yes.
Yeah, met somebody there, and he was a lovely gentleman and his wife, didn't we? And
they live out there and they go motorhoming out there. And
they lived in Spain, didn't they?
No, they might have.
No,
they got away from the heat. Yeah, they lived in Spain.
But it was really hot, so they came out to the west coast of Portugal. So we were just inland, actually, a little bit from the coast is Obidos, but Obidos, because I think they say SH, don't they, in Portugal, Obidos. And then we went and looked at the medieval city, and there was lots going on there, lots to see, some lovely views. And they had that great big viaduct that went all the way across as well, to near it as well.
Beautiful place, wasn't it? Beautiful.
Yeah, really, really nice. It was really worth it. And we would never have found that if we hadn't have had recommendations.
Definitely not.
And then from Obidos, we went to Milfontes, I think it's called. Milfontes.
Is that the one now we're thinking about of all the multiple beaches, I think? Is that Milfontes?
Yes.
So like...
Yes, that's it, yeah.
You had two campsites in the area. We obviously stayed at one of them, which again was another council-run campsite.
Same kind of layout where you can just park up.
Great facilities, actually, these sites.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Really
and for the price, really cheap. Again, with Portugal, you can opt for electric in most places or no electric at all. So if you're self-sufficient on the electric side, you don't have to pay the extra money, which is normally around €4 to €5 per night.
I can't remember the exact prices, but they were about €18, €20 max, weren't they?
Maximum, yeah.
They were fairly cheap for the area that you're in.
And it does change depending on the time of year. What they usually charge for is the size of your rig and then how many people. So if you're travelling alone, then it'd be cheaper. If you've got a family of 4, then it might be more expensive. That
place had lovely beaches, some absolutely stunning. And you had where it was coming in to, is it an estuary they call it?
Yeah, it was an estuary. So it was an estuary that meets the Atlantic Ocean, which was really, really good because you can actually see the ripples from the estuary and the Atlantic meeting.
And the town was lovely as well. And we found that lovely restaurant that was right at the end and just looking at the sea. It's like you were like on your own little island out there.
Yeah, it was. It was lovely.
Really nice, and it wasn't too busy either, and the staff were really welcoming. I did find the Portuguese are always very like polite and nice and lovely and friendly.
Stop at a crossing for you.
Even the crossings, other countries have been to the don't care, but zebra crossing.
Everyone we came across were very polite, very nice, very welcoming, and you've got to love Portugal just for that alone.
From there, we went down to Lagos in the Algarve.
Just outside, actually, wasn't it? Just outside Lagos.
It was Lagos. It was near Praia de Luz.
Yes.
Yeah,
so we went and had a little explore down there, didn't we?
Went down there. We went to Luz. We actually did a run round Luz one morning, didn't we? We went for a run round that area.
As we are, but we did.
It was a bit hilly, but it was all right. So we tried to do like one run a week just to maintain the fitness because we was away for 4 weeks. But I would like to have done more, but we did a lot of walking, so we didn't really a lot of hills. We did a lot.
We kept quite healthy, to be fair. Yeah.
But we stayed in a more expensive campsite there, and it was really busy.
Probably the most expensive campsite.
It was
on that in the Portugal side.
Tourist Campo Algarve, Yellow Village.
Actually, the Yellow Village, and actually we see them at the NEC. They had their own stand, didn't they?
They did, and we recommend
so it's a really good campsite. They've got like, and we did get a comment saying we didn't do the campsite review much justice. However, we were filming the area, so you had Lagos and we had Praia de Luz to film as well.
Wasn't just that,
very busy with
loads
kids.
of children, and it was that time of year. We didn't want to be filming swimming
we have
pools.
To be a bit more careful within Portugal because of their privacy laws. But they have got a sauna inside pool, I believe, gymnasium.
And the restaurant's lovely. We had the best club sandwich I've ever had in my whole life, and they have egg in it. I've never knew they put egg in a club sandwich.
They missed mine.
I swapped some bits with you there, didn't I? Because I'd done it the day before, and I was like, "Oh, you've got to have this," and then he had it, and it didn't have the egg in it. He did in mine, but we did because it was split in 4. We just swapped some.
But like we say, it ain't the cheapest. and prices do vary over the season. So
I do recommend it though. It was if you want to visit them areas. It was
very easy. It was only about €8 to get to Lagos via taxi.
We did see the castle walls and the ground, and the old town was in the castle walls, and then there was a castle fort thing on the beach, wasn't there, which was closed. We couldn't get in.
Just looked like they just closed it up, actually.
Yeah, and then I don't know if it ever
Big
is
marina there.
Big marina, boat rides, whatever. Yeah, it was lovely. Once it was nice to see.
Area.
It was nice to see.
Area to see, and I'll definitely stay a few more days there next time.
Yeah, and we had nice weather as well, didn't we? So it was good. And then we went to a place we've been before that we absolutely love, Albufeira.
Which used to be called Camping Albufeira, but that's changed.
Yeah, so
as we was there, actually.
Yeah,
it all happened as we was there.
Well, the sign was there one day.
Yeah,
and then we wanted to go get a picture next to the sign the next day, and it had gone.
The picture had gone.
So I forgot what they were calling it now.
Oh no. Well, I'll put it down here.
I can't remember. Something
I can't remember. You'll probably all remember it as Camping Albufeira, but it is under a new name. However, if you searched Camping Albufeira, I guarantee it'll still come up. They are making certain changes. We noticed a lot of bell tents going up, so they're making more of the glamping scene going on. And they're still going to be touring. What other changes and how that's going to affect it, I don't know. But everything seemed to be running as it was when we was there last time.
Well, they've got a lot of space, and I've never known anyone to ever have any trouble to get on that site. There's always spaces. Yeah. So they've got a lot of land, and I think they're just going to use a little bit of the touring area and probably make it into something that's going to make them more money. Yeah. Which is business, isn't it? It's understandable.
That's business for you.
But I can't see it being much of a problem for the touring.
It's a great site, being where its location is. I mean, you're not far from the Lidl there. Oh, an Aldi. Can't remember what one it is.
I think it was. Oh no, I'm confused.
Yeah, it was one of them. They're just round the corner. And not only that, it's only a short walk away from Albufeira, the main town there, the old town and the new town. So not. We
love it there, don't we? We absolutely love it.
To be fair, it was very easy getting taxis as well. I mean, they were like €3 each. So each way, so €3 is what, $2.50 at the time. It's nothing really. It's cheaper than getting the bus, to be fair.
We went for a run there as well, didn't we? We ran down. There's like an easy walking or cycle path that just goes straight in. We ran all the way down and then all the way back up again. So that was one of our runs.
And that was our break, really, wasn't it? At that time,
5 nights there, didn't we?
Yeah, it was only meant to be 3.
And then we decided we just want a break here.
Let's have a break.
We did drop one of our other stops that we've been recommended, though, for that.
And that's for another time.
When we left Albufeira, we were recommended a lovely little fishing village called Fuseta.
Yes, and it was a lovely little fishing village.
Oh, lovely experience. Yeah. Absolutely loved that. The campsite itself, which is called Parque de Campismo de Fuseta. Yeah. And but my pronunciation is probably not right, but we'll put it in there. We'll put it down here anyway.
And it was a full campsite near enough.
Yeah, you've got some like seasonals. You could definitely see that, and you had to kind of squeeze on. It was quite busy.
So there was not many spaces. Now they can take big rigs, so I'm not saying they can't. When we first got there, we thought, oh dear, these are all a bit tight, but they had only what they had. And we were lucky, really, because we got on and people just kept arriving. And that's when we finally noticed that actually a lot of Portuguese, they get to these sites early. So even if they say turn up at midday, they're there at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, they do.
As soon as they can. Yeah. And it was accepted. People were turning up early and getting pitched. So there was people that would have been disappointed by the afternoon.
But I found it a little bit cramped, the campsite. Loved the area.
Yeah.
But I would have compromised on that for the area, definitely. Yeah. And we
got a recommendation of the taxi driver from Albufeira.
Yeah.
And he recommended going over to the little islands because you've got the Fuseta Islands all out there.
So we did. Yeah, we wouldn't have known about that, would we?
No.
We jumped on the ferry, little ferry that goes across, and went and seen the beautiful beach. It's like a paradise island, but everywhere's pretty cheap and pretty local prices. It's a fishing village, looks after itself. It's quite a lovely local area, so it's quite cheap and reasonable. When you get over to the other side on that ferry, the ferry's good price as well.
The cheapest over there, was it?
That's the tourist bit, I think, that they make their money on. So
maybe. But there's different types of trips you can do. You can go around all the different islands there. Just go over to the one island.
It's worth a visit. It's definitely worth a visit. We did a bit of sunbathing there as well, didn't we, the next day?
Yes.
Because the tide had gone out.
Yes, so I went paddling.
You went paddling, you were
very shallow water. Not swimming as such.
You were paddling with loads of fish, because I remember you filming them fish.
I think that's the other thing with Portuguese Sea, is because obviously it's the Atlantic that meets the Mediterranean. It's a lot cooler in that water, so expect that. But once you're used to it, it's fine. Yeah.
So then we went to this Hilltop retreat.
Yes, which was another recommendation.
And a great recommendation, we think. But it was near a place called Albufeira, which is right on the border of Spain, and it's quite. The taxi driver was saying it's quite known for people getting away with smuggling things across from one country to the other. But we didn't see any of that, did we? Because we stayed. No,
and it is literally a hilltop retreat where you can relax. I mean, they've got 10 motorhome pitches. If you've got a 4-wheel off-road type vehicle, so a tent box in a Land Rover or something like that, they have got these off-grid wild parking areas around that site, which would be absolutely amazing to experience. Us having motorhome, then there is certain area within the middle of the hilltop, but you're at the highest point, or you can be at the highest point like we were. And I think up the top there was 5 pitches, and then there was some on the next level down. But yeah, you've got a lovely village. You can look at 360 views. So the village one side, all the open bushland the other side. And not only that, they do have like glamping type lodges that, unfortunately, the ones they had there were destroyed, but they should have the new ones in by now.
And that was called the Shamwari Hilltop Retreat. They do have 3 dogs that wander around, so if you are taking a dog with you or you don't like dogs, just let her know, and she will tie the dogs up or she will put them in the house or whatever, so they don't bother you. They have a little restaurant, just one meal.
And they are lovely, friendly dogs, friendly with other animals as well. It's just they are rescues that wouldn't be here today probably if she didn't take them in. So
from there, because it was on the border, we thought it was a great stop because it was recommended to us as well. We thought it was a great idea to go there before we went into Spain. We're not going to go over every stop we did in Spain, but we kind of made our way up to Benidorm because that's where we were meeting family, and that was our final stop. And then we made our way back up to the ferry. The whole thing took 4 weeks. And it was a really good holiday. It was one of the best holidays that we've been on, isn't it?
Yeah.
We do want to talk about a couple of things though, like the Dashcam, for example. When we was out in Portugal, somebody mentioned about them being illegal, didn't they?
Yeah, so Dashcams as such are not illegal. They're not illegal items to have. It's how you use the footage. So it's all to do with data protection. So if they feel they can prove that you're going to misuse that footage and post it online, then you can get prosecuted up to €25,000. So it is best to probably remove the dash cam. Now, we didn't bother. You was thinking we should remove it. I weren't. I didn't.
I think if they find it in the glove compartment anyway, it's the same as having it on there because you can put it on.
What it's classed as is constant surveillance.
Yeah, it's if you went into somewhere, if you're a tourist and you're just driving around and you just got any campsites and moving around, I don't think, unless you'd upset them in any other way, I don't think they would actually pull you for that unless they were in a bad mood. I think it's too much for them to bother about just a dash cam. It would be on the back end of something else if they pulled you for something else, I think. Yeah. So we chose to take the risk of having it on, but it is a risk. I can't say they won't pull you for it.
Yeah. We spoke to a few people that lived there, Portuguese and expats, and no one has ever really had any issues with having a dash cam.
I would say do your own research. We were fine. We managed fine with it. Nobody really bothered us. But do your own research on that, just for your own peace of mind. Don't take it from us that you'd be fine, because we'd hate then for something to happen. So do your own research and take it on your own risk if you want to do it. But just bear in mind that they can they can pull you for that if they wanted to.
The thing is, if ours was easy to take off, then I probably would have took it off
and stuck it in the back
somewhere. However, it is taped on with the M3 sticky tape. I didn't want the hassle of taking it off and having to put back on. And not only that, some UK insurance companies demand that you have that a dash cam fitted. So, you've got to weigh up certain things. And if your insurance company says so, then you can politely say to the authorities, well, actually, it's part of my British UK insurance policy that I need to have one. But yeah, we didn't get stopped, we didn't get questioned, and to be fair, none of them batted an eyelid. Data protection is where the issues lie. Don't go sharing everything online. Probably won't even work if you had to use it in court anyway. So
it just depends on the area you're filming as well.
Yeah.
So then the other question that we keep getting asked is about the tolls, isn't it?
Yes.
So Portuguese tolls are different to France and Spain. Completely different, and you can easily get caught out. The amount of people that we've known, or people that have commented to us, or we've seen it on other groups, where they've gone home, thought they were covered, and then they've received a fine, and then they don't understand why they've got to pay it. Yeah,
so there's basically two types of toll systems run by two different companies. However, they are both, all the information is Portugal tolls.com, I believe it is, but I'll put the not only the link in the description, I'll put the title up now. But on that website, it does explain the two toll systems. Now, they have got electronic tolls. Now, the further south you go, the tolls are no more. A lot of the tolls are sort of stopped within the Portugal area. But
the physical tolls.
Yeah, the physical tolls. But, if you're travelling all the way from the north, then you would find you will probably end up on a toll road at some point. But you have the electronic tolls. So on this website, you can apply for or register your card, your bank card, for 30 days on the Easy Toll system, and everything you get clocked up for that day, because it's done in stages. So it might be €1. They're not expensive, to be honest. €1, 50 cents, whatever. As you clock it up through the day, you'll get billed that, and it won't come through for at least 7 days. So don't panic if you don't see it straight away.
You can pull over and pay for them tolls, can't you, before you go through them?
You can. There is.
I don't know where they are.
No.
But we will show you a picture of what an easy toll looks like, so you don't get these mixed up. We'll show you that now.
Yeah.
That's what you are paying for if you pay for the easy tolls, right?
Yes.
Not the physical tag booths.
No.
Right. So I think what's been happening is people have paid for that. And you can get a tag box, can't you?
You can get a tag, yes, if you have got a tag.
Yeah, you would need both, though. That's what we're saying. So if you've got the tag, then that's fine. You can go for the tag. But if you don't have that and you've just got the easy tolls, you have not paid for the barriered tag physical tolls. You have not paid for them. Ones like you get in France and Spain, you have not paid for that. People are thinking, I believe what they're doing is they're thinking they've paid for the easy toll, that they can just drive straight through. So they're going through the tag side and then wondering why they're getting a fine. Yeah.
So I will say it in the most clearest way possible I can, is go on to the Portuguese, portugaltolls.com, register for easy toll about a day or two before you go. So it's all logged on the system with a card. Then when you're in Portugal, if you come up against a barrier, that's when you pay. If there's no barrier...
Go to the pay one. Yeah. Go to the pay one. Don't go down the tag one.
Physical barriers, go to the barrier and pay.
It's just the easiest way.
Otherwise, there'd be a load of cameras above your head.
It's just the easiest way. We paid for the easy tolls, for the overhead tolls, and we stop at the physical barrier tolls and pay. It was just the easiest way that we found to understand it, and we've had no issues.
Like I say, all the information is on their website, and you can read through that. It's in English, so not a problem. It explains even the roads that have these tolls on.
We've been to Portugal a couple of times. The first time we only had a couple of stops, didn't we?
Yeah.
We loved it then, and we really loved the recommendations we were given this time, and it really made our adventure more fun, didn't it? We really enjoyed our time. We love Portugal. We would recommend Portugal, definitely.
100%.
Just do your research on certain things that we've spoken about, and if you haven't been before and you want to follow our route, then just take note of where we've been. If you're wanting to go look at our playlist that we did for Portugal, if you haven't already seen it, go back and have another look through and see where we've been. And it was a good route to go, and then you can even add some bits on for yourself. But at least if you've got like a basic route, we did go into Spain after that as well, but we're not going to talk about this in the video because this is just to help you with Portugal, really, isn't it?
Yes. And can you do Portugal in 2 weeks? We have been asked that question.
Yes, we did it in 2 weeks.
Yes, you can. As long as I would say get the ferry over to Santander, 5 hours you're in Portugal anyway.
Oh, you mean and then get back?
Yeah,
you could.
So you could. Yeah, you could, but
I wouldn't want to because it's a bit of a rush and I think you'd miss a lot of things.
It depends if you've got a choice or not. If you ain't got no choice, then you can, and I would.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Longer the better, as anything.
If you wanted to just go around and like 1 or 2 night stops, that's fine. But if you're wanting to spend a bit of time out there, and then I think if we find it quite rushed with the 4 weeks anyway, even though we do enjoy it and we love it, we would just like longer. But unfortunately, we are in that situation. Once I've retired, then we'll go there for the full 3 months, around that area, do the same thing again, but spend more time. It's a lovely place, really friendly, really enjoyed it, and so glad we went.
Right, well, I
hope this has helped you.
I hope this has helped you. It's probably going to be a longer video than normal. But hopefully it's captured everything it needs to. Any questions, any comments, anything you need to understand about the Portugal trip or want to ask, please put it in the comment section and we will do our best to answer anything that you have. So thanks to everyone that subscribed and supports the channel. We really, really do appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next one. So until then, bye.
See ya.